So welcome. We are going to discuss question 3 of the April 2022 paper, Principles of Management. Now, question 3, summarize 5 reasons that support Hawthorne environments. Summarize 5 reasons that support Hawthorne experiments. Now, what are these Hawthorne experiments? Hawthorne experiments, this is found in the evolution of management. We had the pre-classical theories, then we talked of classical theories, and then the after the classical theories. That's when we had this professor called Professor Elton Mayo, who is now referred to as the father of human resource. He was the one who conducted these Hawthorne experiments in USA. The company was called Hawthorne Works. So he did a lot of experiments, which were later to be referred to as the Hawthorne experiments. And some of the experiments that he did were the illumination experiment. He did 4 major. The other one was relay assembly test room. Then he also conducted the interviewing program as an experiment, and he conducted the bank wiring test room. So these are some of the experiments he conducted in these. Basically, they are the ones that sum up the Hawthorne experiments. And from these Hawthorne experiments, we find application of whatever conclusions he made at that particular point in time being applied in today's organizations. And those are some of the contributions that he has made, and they are still being practiced in today's organization. And I will say that those are the reasons that basically support the Hawthorne experiments. Why the Hawthorne experiments are very important. What conclusion did he come up with? So this is basically what he came up with. He said that he concluded that business is a social system. Business is a social system. Not necessarily a techno-economic system, but a social system also. Social to mean that there are people. We are talking about people here. Before that, we were talking about the classical theories, and it had basically looked at employees as machines. Everything was standardized and such like stuff. But with Elton Mayo's coming, he basically found out from the experiments, and of course he had the experiment and the control group. He found out that these are people, and they really needed that, there's something about motivation and productivity, that their welfares also counted. And so he ended up with the conclusion that business is a social system where we need to look at and be considerate at other people's feelings and attitudes, and well-being. That is one of the conclusions he came up with at that particular point in time. And he also said that the employees can be motivated by the psychological and the social ones. And not necessarily the economic needs alone. Most people thought that the rewards are only economic in terms of money, incentives. But Elton Mayo found out that the psychological ones are very important to the employees, the social ones are very important, and that the productivity of these employees tend to increase when they know that there's somebody watching over their welfare, when they know that there's somebody who is actually interested in how their lives, how caring about their lives. And that was a plus, which is still very important even in today's environment. Then something also that Elton Mayo came up with is that the cooperative relationship with the employees is better, more promising, and results yielding than the command kind of a relationship. You know, initially when we were talking about the classical theories, there was that kind of a command kind of a relationship, that the boss was there and the employees was down there. So then the employees were supposed to take orders as they are. You remember even the 14 principles of Henry Fayol, unity of command, you know, direction, you know, the spirit, you know, kind of there was that command, you know. And when Elton Mayo came, he talked of the cooperative relationship. Can we talk? Can we have a two-way kind of a communication? And that is very important, basically gotten from the Hawthorne studies. And in fact, that should be the point we are the fourth point. We are talking about participation. Participation where two-way communication was encouraged and made these employees feel like they are also part of the system and human beings. Employee satisfaction. He came up with this conclusion that employee satisfaction basically yielded better productivity. Employee satisfaction yielded better productivity. And so employees, how do we get the employee satisfaction? According to him, look at their standards of living, look at their welfare, look at their, basically, it's an all-round thing. And we can see we are talking about psychological and social ones. And this will go a long way also in improving the employee morale. To Elton Mayo, the employee morale was critical in building the team spirit, which will basically lead to attaining the desired goals. So, summarize 5 reasons that support Hawthorne experiments. This is the Hawthorne experiment. These are the outcomes or the conclusions from the Hawthorne experiment. So what are these 5 reasons that support Hawthorne experiments? We support the 5 reasons that support Hawthorne experiments are based on the fact that these conclusions are still being utilized today. So we want to look at the application of these conclusions then to today's organization. Today's organizations are also social systems, and in fact nowadays we talk about a family setup. Like an organization should be like your family. So where you can share, you feel that you are comfortable, you feel that you are well taken care of. We have the whole welfare. In fact, today we are talking about organizations even having rooms for mothers to breastfeed their children. That is very important. We talk about canteens in organizations. We talk about meals, morning, mid, you know, and those are some of the results that were conducted here in these the Hawthorne studies. We talk about the policies that have been put by organizations to basically ensure safety of the workers, the WIBA insurance systems that are in place. All these things are happening from whatever conclusions Elton Mayo came up with, that this employee is very important and he needs to feel like his welfare is being checked, or there's somebody who is concerned with his welfare. So I will say these are the reasons that support Hawthorne experiments. The Hawthorne experiments came up with these conclusions, and the organizations today are still pursuing these conclusions that Elton Mayo basically concluded from his experiments. So let's move to the next item. Just pick any 5. These are around 6 or 7. So let's go to the next item. The next item is explain 5 environmental changes that might impact on the effective planning by an organization. Explain 5 environmental changes that might impact on the effective planning by an organization. Now, when we talk about an environment, I think at some point we mentioned that we have the internal environment, we have the external environment. And the external environment, we have the immediate, and we also have the remote or the general. Now, 5 environmental changes that might impact on the effective planning by an organization. Anything that affects the premises. Premises are the assumptions during planning, is likely to frustrate the entire plan. So if the premises or the assumptions are interfered with, the whole plan is likely to be affected. So let's see 5 environmental changes that might impact on the effective planning of an organization. The easiest way to go in this question is to approach it from the remote perspective. The remote external, and that is the external environment, because the management doesn't have any control. These are things that happen beyond his powers. We are talking about pestle. This is beyond the management, and all these are points. But this doesn't exhaust. You still have the internal, which you have not even started. Though these are within the management control, but they can also impact on the effective planning by an organization. So let's look at the remote political factors. Seriously, there's nothing that the management can do about this. When you talk about election, political violence, unrests, insecurity. We talk about political inclinations and its effects, where the management the political space just decides to hate you, and it's like they are fighting you, maybe for your political stand or whatever reasons. These are things that are beyond the management, but they can frustrate the entire organization. I'm looking at a situation where the government is pegged on making sure that you are out of business. They pump cases left, right, center to you. At the end of the day, you'll be fighting these cases as opposed to implementing the plan. And then economic factors. We talk about inflation rates. It can affect the organization. Increased interest rates. We talk about unemployment. High unemployment. You want employees to help you, but there are no employees. We are talking about things like the monetary policies that are not favorable. Monetary policies which are not favorable. The business cycles. Business is just slow. Things are not moving. You are on a depression. You can't, maybe it's unexpected, because when you are planning, you are foreseeing a situation where things will just be okay, and then something happens and forces business to go in a depression against possibly your anticipations. So these are things that can happen, and they will impact on the effective planning by an organization. Social-cultural, changing beliefs, the lifestyle. Like if you are an organization that is involved with the production of the junk foods and the group, and then people all of a sudden don't like the junk foods, they associate them with, such like things are likely to affect the organization negatively, and they will affect planning to a large extent. We talk of technological changes, and here we have the class, we have the income levels, education levels. All these are some of the things that can affect. Education level can impact of the clientele, the stakeholders can impact on your effective planning. If they are ignorant, they may not understand what you are selling to them. The technological factors, we are talking about the innovation, obsolescence, wear and tear, depletion, such like stuff, the trends, the new technologies, and they basically impact negatively on what you already have. Different companies, so many companies have actually gone under because of change in technology. Environmental factors, the laws, especially the laws. We have so many laws that might be against your plan. Legal factors, again, we have policies, we have the laws that might affect you negatively. So, all these are points. They only want five environmental changes that might impact on the effective planning by an organization. We might talk of increase in interest rate, inflation rate, business cycles. You might talk of political unrest. You might talk of unemployment. Yeah, unemployment, where you are looking for employees and you can't get the right skills to do the job. Technological changes can also affect the effective planning by an organization. No. So all these are just external, and all these are points. We just need to argue them out. And then we have the internal forces. For internal forces, I will just go I'll go the McKinsey model way, and we discussed McKinsey here before. McKinsey. So I will look at, explain 5 environmental changes. I look at changes in strategies, changes in structure, changes in the skills, the staff, leadership, like in structure, I'll say changes in the resource availability. We had anticipated to have this much in resources, but we have not managed to raise them. So that will affect plan to a great extent. We had anticipated for new leadership with a certain skill set, but we were not able to get that new leadership with that skill set. We had anticipated on the direction we were going, but maybe it has been frustrated by new policies that have been put in place. So, at the end of the day, we have maybe to change our vision for us to continue in business, maybe in a different line of business. So, here, this model will help me. Here, PESTEL model will help me get the answers. When you talk about immediate external, it's all about the competition. Here we talk about competition. So competition can also impact on the effective planning. Powerful suppliers. When you have powerful suppliers, this can impact on effective planning because they order you. You have to buy to their terms, not to your terms. When you have very powerful competitors, they will influence you. Powerful consumers, they want to buy in their terms, not in your terms. And there's nothing you can do about that. We said you can only influence them, but you cannot force them. So if they are powerful than you, they might command you. They say that you supply to us this, but we'll pay you after 3 months. And because you want money, what will you do? And if you don't give in, they will take the business somewhere else. So this will affect your planning. Because if somebody delays your pay by 3 months, you can imagine the effect. So I think I have given you so many answers. Explain 5 environmental changes. All these are changes. Competition, suppliers, upcoming suppliers, powerful consumers. Those are changes. So just pick any 5. Explain how they will affect effective planning by an organization. These are more than 30 points here that you possibly have. Okay, let's look at the next one. Let's look at the next question. The next question is analyze 5 live benefits. I think it's 5, not live. Analyze 5 benefits. 5 benefits of following right procedures and policies in the workplace. 5 benefits of following right procedures and policies at the workplace. Now, the policies and procedures, these are things that give a general guideline of how you should conduct yourself. So what are the benefits of having them in the first place, these right procedures and policies? It makes life very easy because we have, it makes life very easy. Imagine if you have procedure, that this is the procedure, this is how you are supposed to do things. Policies are direction. They are just a general direction guiding your behavior or your decision-making pattern, that given if you are in such a situation, this is how you should go about it. So what are some of the benefits? And before maybe go to benefits, let me just mention some of the examples of policies. Like we can have the example policies. Now they are just disappearing, but we have quite a number. Policies, we can have occupational and safety workplace policy. We can have drug abuse policy. We can have the whistleblowing policy. We can have, such like stuff. So, analyze 5 benefits of following these right procedures and policies at the workplace. Number 1, safer. Now that we've mentioned drug abuse policy, safer work environment. Safer work environment. The policies especially define the environment that you are supposed to be working in. So they tell you what is allowed, what is not allowed, and at the very end, we possibly will have a safer working environment. We are also likely to have better quality products, especially if we have the right procedures. And this, by the time we say that this is the procedure, it means that they must have been tested and found to be the best of the best results. So if we are to follow the right procedures that have been stipulated in the manner they have been stipulated, then at least we are assured to a great extent to have better quality products and improved productivity at that. Then we also have clarity and clarity in the expectations, clarity in the workplace expectations. So it's very clear what is expected of us, especially from policies, that the policies will be a general guideline of how we should carry ourselves, how we should conduct ourselves. So it gives us clarity of what is expected of us in the organization. And of course, if we have clarity, there is that teamwork, uniformity. All those are some of the benefits that will come with that. So teamwork, uniformity, value system, the value system, and the culture of the organization. This is actually the starting point. The policies and procedures, they are very key, especially the policies, very key in setting up the value system and culture of the organization. Value system and culture is basically how you carry yourselves in an organization. The other thing is that it also help protect the company against we can talk of legal suits. We can talk of bad, reputation, the reputational risks, because you do things that have already been defined, that this is what you are supposed to do given a situation like this. So there is no room for you a lot of experimenting, and which might end up taking you to exposing you to other risks like the legal risks and reputational risks. So I think we've also talked about improving productivity. I mentioned it somewhere. Better quality products, that can be different from improved productivity. Improved productivity, because if everything has already been defined, yours is just a smooth flow. We expect a smooth flow of activities if the procedures are very clear. So that means that good productivity at that is assured. Then you also have consistent structures, consistent structures and processes. This is also one of the benefits, especially when you have the right procedures. The right procedures will lead to consistent structures and processes. The way we do things, it becomes consistent. There's nothing good like consistency. And before I forget, we can also talk about communication, effective communication. If we have the right procedures, the right policies, these are ingredients to effective communication, effective coordination. They are good for organization. You know, at least there's some order in the organization. If we have policies, we have right procedures, there's some order, there is a way, a defined way of doing things, which are all ingredients for, you know, teamwork, which is also an ingredient now for good communication. So you can see all these, I cannot exhaust all of them, but all these are benefits of right policies and procedures. So thank you. Let's meet in the next question.